Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to the Masterpiece Lounge with Chrisnatha. I am your hostess, yours truly, Chrisnatha Derosier. I am a certified life coach, author, and speaker. And as always, I come and I bring you these segments that I hope that empowers you, inspires you, and that they're really informative and that they can really help you and bless you as well as your circle of influence. And so today is no different. As always, please say hello down in the chat as you come in. If this is your first time, welcome, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back, welcome back. So, yes, we are here with another segment. All right, so let's just get some housekeeping out of the way. Say hello down in the chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from, what city, what state, or what part of the world, because we know you are tuning in from everywhere. All right, so we're going to be talking today about preparing for the second half of the year. Preparing for the second half of the year. So, preparing for the third and fourth quarter of the year. Can you believe that we are already having this conversation? That we are already talking about, thinking about, and about to step into the third quarter of 2022. It was just yesterday we were saying Happy New Year, but that just goes to show you how time waits for no one, how literally time moves so quickly. And so we need to make sure we're being intentional about how we're spending our time, what we're focused on, and what we are actually doing. Okay. That we're not spending eternity planning and brainstorming, but we're actually implementing some of the very things that we've been planning, talking, and thinking about. All right. So, with that being said, we're going to jump into it and talking about how to prepare or some best practices and how to prepare for the second half of the year, right? So, think of this as a mid year check in. Okay. So, think of it that way. Let me first say this: some of us had resolutions and we had goals and all types of plans for this year. It's not too late. It's not too late. For some of us, we may have started off strong, but I want to encourage you to not just start off strong or be a serial starter, but to also finish strong as well. And so you can jump right back on path and continue moving forward. So I want to share with you 6 tips to make the second half of the year really count for you. The first one is to set time aside for your mid-year review. In the corporate world, in the workplace, there are reviews that are made. Sometimes it's quarterly, sometimes it's twice a year. But there are reviews that are made, right? There are reviews that are done and completed about you, your performance, your productivity, what you add to the team. I want you to do that also with your life. This is not a session to bash yourself. This is not an opportunity to have a pity party. This is an opportunity for you to see where you are and see how can you pivot, what things can you change, and how can you finish strong and pressing forward for the next 6 months. Okay? So yes, do that very same thing. Do that same evaluation um, and assessment for your own life with different aspects of your life. Where are you? Not where you want to be. That's important. But let's first start with the facts, right? Where am I now? And what will it take for me to get to from where I am to where I want to be? What are the steps? How can we measure success in that area? Because remember, with our goals and our plans, that there has to be some way of measuring. It's not enough to say, I want to be better, right? We need you to get as specific as possible. And so, what can you do and how can you measure the success in each area of your life? So, think about setting a time aside for this mid year review. You can do it alone, you can do it with friends, you can have accountability partners. I would encourage you, if you got together with a group of people who are really close to you, to create vision boards and talk about your intentions for this year. Try to rally those same people around and do your mid year reviews. Why not, right? But if you want to do it alone, you can. So set a time aside, pick a place, whether it's in person, virtual, you decide. But definitely pick a place, set a time aside, be intentional about that time, and give yourself space and room to do so. I think that's really, really important. Um, Collect the information in terms of um, what were the goals, what were the plans for this year, what were those plans, where was the focus supposed to be, right? And let's just evaluate where we are with that. What growth measurements can we really assess? Okay. Um, I don't want you to beat yourself up because I know a lot of times when this happens, it's like, oh man, I didn't do it. But the you don't have time to focus on that. Like, what can I do now is more the focus, right? Number two is to evaluate your results based on your goals. If my goal was to write a book and I've written a chapter, now I can have some fair assessment. I may need to write more and to get push a little bit more in terms of my writing schedule, putting time aside, right? So that's just an example. How are you acting in ways that are supportive of the goals that you have? For example, if you're trying to shed off weight, are you choosing your foods wisely? What are your food choices like? You got to be honest, right? You got to be honest with yourself. Are you exercising? Be honest, right? You don't have to beat yourself up if you haven't been, but be honest. And how can you start doing that today? How are you acting in ways that are counter to your goals? That's a real question. In what ways are you basing your decisions on your goals? Make sure your goals are realistic, that they're smart, okay, specific, that you can measure them, they're attainable, that they're relevant, and then there's a time stamp and a date on there. Um, Look at your number one goal for the year and ask yourself these questions. Where am I today? What have I achieved in comparison to what the goal is? What resources do I have to work with? Where do I want to be by the end of the year? Okay. And you can recalibrate this. You can adjust your goal, adjust what that looks like, because you have to be realistic, right? With time frame and everything. How long is it going to take to reach this goal based on my progress and the resources that are available? And what do I need to get there? What do you need to get there? So I'm going to ask you that again. What do you need to get there? And to take that question a step further, do you even know what you need? Because you don't know what you don't know. And that is okay. So if you don't know something, it's time to start asking the questions. It's time to start asking the questions. You don't have to do this alone. No question is a stupid question. You just have to ask. And if you need help, get help, hire someone, do what you need to do, but get it done. Get it done. I want you to be somewhere different than you were last year, right? And I would hope that you want that for yourself. Okay. I also want to encourage you to be honest with yourself. If you really aren't putting in the effort, be honest with yourself. Once again, it's not about beating yourself up, it's about progress, right? Be honest with yourself. Maybe I haven't been doing what I need to do. Maybe I can do better. Maybe I have been playing small. So, if that's the case, why? And is this goal still important to me? And if it is, then what can I do to have a paradigm shift, right? To shift my mind, my thinking, right? So that I can really just do it. No excuses, doing it the best that I can. So I know at the end of this, I did my best, right? This is a personal journey for all of us. Also, I want you to think about recalibrating your plan. You may have to adjust some things on your plan within some goals in terms of time frame, how you're going to reach the goal, who's involved. All of those things are okay. It's always important to come to the table like this and to tweak things if necessary. That's why you have to sit down and do a review, evaluate where you are and what's working and what's not working. If you were calibrating your plan, think about this. What are your recalibrated goals? What are some goals that you've had to change and tweak, and what that looks like for the rest of the year? How do you want to engage with prospects and clients if you own a business? What do you want to do differently, right? Also, for all my business owners out there, what marketing tactics do you need to focus on, right? What are some things I need to do differently in terms of promoting my business? How many more clients do I need to work with during the second half of the year to reach my financial and fiscal goal that I set out for myself and my business? And so these are real questions. Being able to measure the very things that you want to accomplish. What changes do I need to make in my business management practices? Do I need to build or grow my team? Do I need an assistant? These are real questions. I would encourage you to also plan for potential obstacles because things don't always go as planned and sometimes things happen. So be prepared to have to um, fix some things, right? To jump in there and say, this didn't work. However, we've anticipated this. Okay, so anticipate that and plan for obstacles. All right, so let's move on to the next, and that is to create an action plan for the third quarter. So sit down and actually create a plan for the next 3 months. And for those of you who've already done this, congratulations, you are ahead of the game, right? But for those of you who haven't, that's okay. But take time. That is the main message I want you to really hold on to, grab and hold on to today. Take time to plan. Make the time, right? Make the time. It's important. So create an action plan for the third quarter. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. These are the things that I need. These are the things that I have, and I know how to get from A to B. So in the next 90 days, I can sit down again and say, okay, we're on track. And then we're going to tackle the final 90 days. Okay. So think about, what knowledge or skills do I need to acquire? Whose help do I need? What personality traits and attitudes do I need to possess? Do I need to change some things? What habits and behaviors do I need to change or let go of? So these are some questions I really want you to ask yourself. And I want you to also get into the second half of the year as if it's the first half of the year. Go into this. I know we've been doing a lot. We might even be a little tired, but I'm encouraging you to get into this excited, optimistic, just like you were at the top of the year. Stay optimistic, stay realistic, be mindful of the time. And I'm going to throw in a bonus. Be sensitive to the Holy Spirit. While you're out here, you're going, you're pushing, you're grinding, you are just going ahead and just taking quantum leaps. You're just reaching your goals, you're pushing. With all of that, do not forget to pray and be sensitive to the Holy Spirit, cuz just make sure you're getting understanding, but divine understanding, right? Because it's so important that we are sensitive, because if God is telling us to take a detour, we need to be sensitive to that. If God is telling us, listen, I know this plan, you guys, airtight, but there's a little bit of shift I need you to take here, and it's going to make the difference. I want you to be sensitive to that, right? And so keep that in mind as you press forward and have the most incredible second half of the year. So I hope that these tips were just a few things that you could take, grab, implement starting today, and even share with your friends and colleagues, your network, so that we can all have an incredible second half of the year. So this is just so that we are going into the third and fourth quarter with intention, excited, almost like just a refresh, right? Just hitting the reset button and saying, let's do it. We can do this and we got this. So guys, as always, stay in touch with me. Let's stay connected via social media. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how you're doing, and let me know that these tips and these nuggets and these chats and segments are helpful to you. And also, as always, I invite you to go to my online home, iaaminstitute.com. Get connected with me there. Sign up for our free mailing list and grab your free ebook. It is my gift to you. So thank you so much in advance for that. So let's stay connected, guys. And you can find me right here, same time, same place next week. And we're going to continue talking about incredible things that are going to help push our life and our businesses forward. I love you guys. Thank you again. I'm Chrisnatha Derosier, certified life coach, author, and speaker, signing off until next time. And until then, be well. Take care, everyone. Thank you.